You're listening to the Packernet Podcast Network.
We all have smartphones, and we all know they're pretty amazing, but they also can be amazingly distracting, especially when we're around other people. So US Cellular wants us to reset our relationship with our phones by putting down our phones for $5. That's right, a company that sells phones wants us to put down our phones. And to see what we find, learn more at uscellular.com/built for us.
It's done.
Connor McDavid! It's not real!
The goal of the year,
Panarin!
part of the past. The celebrations, forgotten. The history,
Vegas Golden Knights!
history. We're back to a blank slate. Clean ice. All that matters now is what happens next. The Stanley Cup playoffs.
Eastern Conference Final begins Wednesday.
Actually, it's the lead play in our offense. We ask our YN or a tight end to open up somewhere between 6 feet and 9 feet to get an isolation with the linebacker. Come to tackle, take the defensive end if he's over him. If he's not, to drive down on the first man to his inside. If the YN has the linebacker taken out, he cuts inside. If the YN has the linebacker in, he comes all the way around. If you look at this play, what we're trying to get is a seal here and a seal here and try to run this play in the alley.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Email us PackersTotalAccess@gmail.com. Text us 865-658-5824. Join alongside Tim live in Green Bay. Good to have you back, brother. Fresh off the anniversary celebration there, man. How are you and the missus doing, bro?
Man, doing great, man. Little extended staycation, I'll call it. Went up to Sturgeon Bay, went up to Door County. It was a nice little weekend. So happy to be back, though. Ready to roll and catch up on everything that I missed. You know, I've been like power listening to all the pods the last day and a half or so since we got back in town and just catching up on everything. But happy to be back, man, talking ball.
Yeah, man. That sounds like an awesome trip, man. Sometimes you just got to get away. Like you did it the right way, too. Just get off the grid. Yep. Put the damn phone down, get off the grid, and enjoy life a little bit, man. Because I'm getting way too much screen time. I promise you that. I never thought I would say that. I feel like I'm a boomer now, but it is what it is. So, Tim, obviously we got OTAs going on, man. It's an exciting time. I don't know how you feel. I seen some knuckleheads earlier today going, it's guys in shorts. Oh my God, it's not a big deal. And I'm going, man, what? You cats have to be the most miserable people on the face of the freaking planet. Because I'm out here like, we're in the pool today. You got up to like 86 degrees. Man, birds chirping. You can hear kids in the neighborhood, run around raising HE double hockey stick. They're just, it feels like early summer. We got footballs flying over at the practice facility at Green Bay, Wisconsin. How can you not be excited about it, man? It's the guys are back in town. They're back at work. The whole team's there, to the best of my knowledge, pretty much 100%, other than they said one player who had a family issue. I'm not sure which player that was, but everyone seems to be bought in here early on. And it's just an exciting time to be a Packer fan, man. I don't understand that whole mindset of, oh, it's just OTAs. It's just OTAs. Go do something else then. Go watch Star Wars, bro. Do your thing. We'll be here talking ball and follow
me in September.
Yeah, exactly. See you in September, casual, right?
Around here, it doesn't matter if they're running around in their shorts or full pads or something in between. We wake up with our piss hot, right?
Yeah, our guys better wake up with their piss hot, like I said before. So
I love LaFleur, man. He seems like he's ready to roll, bro. Like he sounds really excited about Jordan and this young offense. He seems excited about all the pieces put in place. I didn't get a chance to grab any sound bites from him. We could play the whole press conference and it'd be absolute gold. But the thing that stood out to me about what he said was someone asked him about the participation, and he changed the subject immediately. They were essentially saying that you got a lot of buy-in here. The guys are kind of on board. And he immediately, what leaders do, right? You absorb criticism and you redistribute praise. He immediately said it's a testament to Goody and the quality of people that he brings in this organization. It just seems like everybody's on the same page, man. I'm so excited for this season. It's going to be an absolute blast, man.
We're really seeing the culmination of what Preston Smith talked about like 7 months ago, which was like, championship off season. Let's be realistic here. Whether it's an OTA, whether it's optional workout, you want to come in early and get some extra stretching in, little extra PT, whatever it is, be willing to do that. Any time of year, be willing to go the extra mile because, you're setting yourself up for success in the future. When your hands are on your knees in week 5 and you're gassed, that extra, conditioning and the approach that you took in the off season into the preseason, up through training camp and, going into the regular season, that's going to pay off. And we're starting to see that right now. Guys look good. I mean, I know it's just like we said, the underwear Olympics 2.0 here, running around with shorts on, catching passes and doing drills, but guys look good. They looked energized and, ready to go. And that's what you want from your football team,
Yeah. And the big thing too is this is, if I understood correctly, the second youngest team in the entire league. So with that being said, this second phase here and this entire install is just absolutely huge, man. It's huge. It's amazing. The same people that are, it don't matter, will be the first ones screaming at the top of their lungs when someone blows an assignment in week 3, right? And this is the time that you kind of iron those things out, getting ready for camp. Camp is all about physicality, right? In the final installment. Well, you can't get to that step without these crucial OTAs. A good buddy of mine, Vince, that played in the league for 2 different teams, the Patriots and the Chiefs. Like, bro, you heard the GOAT the other day, one of his teammates, Tom Brady, talk about it. His advice to the young quarterbacks, and thank God Michael Pratt got to be in that room with Tom Brady. But he's like, I had minimal snaps in training camp. He said he got like 2 reps is all he got per practice. He said, I had to treat it like those are the last 2 reps of my career. Yep. Those 2 reps are like the Super Bowl. This stuff matters, man. It matters to me. So I just I love and appreciate the fact that the team is completely bought in, unlike they have been in the past. It just seems like everybody is excited to play for one another. It's going to be a lot of fun, man. The big thing for me, I wanted to see how McKinney looked, right? Xavier McKinney.
Yep.
And some people probably kind of see like, okay, it's a huge signing, getting X in here. But the reality is pretty much in every metric you can look at, you go watch the game tape, you look at PFF, you look at the SIS data, this is probably the best player on this defense.
Yep.
So this defense is going to go as he goes, right? And you got Rashawn Gary, who's an absolute monster. They're up there in the front. You got Kenny Clark, who's playing for his career this year, right? In a contract year, obviously. You got Jair Alexander, who's kind of rejuvenated. But it's cool having Rashawn Gary and Kenny Clark up there in the front, right on the defensive front, and then you got X on the back that's kind of tying everything together. And he just seems really excited to be here. And you talk about every sense of the word, he seems like a natural born leader. We got a quick soundbite here from him in his locker earlier today as the local media met with him. Let's see what Xavier McKinney, huge free agent signing, obviously this offseason, played for the Giants his first 4 years in the league. Let's see what he had to say today.
How is that coming into a new environment, but automatically being thrust into a leadership role?
No, I think it's good when you already got a team full of guys, that are great people, great players, and all around just have welcomed me, and haven't made it, hard for me to just come in and be myself. So everybody just making me feel comfortable, and then just me being, who I naturally am, and taking that role, and it's something that I'm used to and I've done for a long time. So it doesn't really throw me off. It just makes me even better, just having these guys around me and them letting me know that I could be myself and be who I am. So it's been fun.
Notice how he didn't say, yeah, I'm excited about being a leader. I'm excited about, leading the charge and Mr. Rah-Rah. Just like, no, these dudes accepted me, and I'm just going to be myself. What that tells the other players is, hey, be comfortable in your own skin, man. Be yourself, right? I'm excited about X, man. I think he's going to be a great addition here, Tim.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when I look at him, I see a pro's pro, a guy that has come into Green Bay here in just a few short months and, you look at things like this, you see some of the work he's doing at the facility as we run the footage here. It's almost like he's been here 3-4 years already. You know what I mean? Like he can just step in here and, as the kids say, real recognize real, right? We've got pros smattered all over this defense. You got Rashawn Gary, you got Preston Smith, Jair Alexander. There are guys that know what time it is, so to speak. And then you combine that with the young talent, first and second year, third year guys that we have. A guy like X is going to fit in real easily here. And as far as him being a leader, that's just part of who he is. He was a leader in Buffalo, a leader in New York. He's a leader here in Green Bay. And, I can't wait to see him on the field playing those meaningful snaps. But right now we'll settle for running around in shorts with a helmet on,
I love seeing this shot right here, too. In the background, you see Javon Bullard, you see Evan Williams, you see Anthony Johnson Jr., and everybody. Look at what they're watching. They're watching the pro take care of business, right? I don't know,
That's
man.
Right. It's crazy to look at that group and think that Anthony Johnson Jr. has been on the team the longest out of all of those guys.
Yeah. Which it's wild to think about because, many people last year were like, we get rid of Joe Barry, we'll be okay. And then all of a sudden what happens? They end up, Joe Barry's gone. They run him off and they run off the entire secondary too. Like, everybody get out of here. We're just starting clean. Let's start fresh here. Which when you make a scheme change too, and I never really thought about this in the offseason. You guys know I wanted to see Rudy Ford back, obviously. That hasn't happened yet. I don't know if he's signed yet. Maybe he has signed with the team. I'm not sure. But nonetheless, when you change schemes, sometimes it's really, really hard to – I'm gonna use really bad grammar here, okay, and just to prove a point. It's hard to unlearn people. You know what I mean? Like They get something set in their mind. And when you bring in a fresh rookie like that, a whole class of rookies, young guys, they're just going to be a clean slate, ready to learn, ready to listen. I think that's kind of the reason they went that route. Another cool thing about McKinney, this tweet came in from Matt Schneidman, said, Xavier McKinney said today he watches practice film as soon as practice ends so he can relay what he sees to other DBs and they can get ahead of post-practice meetings. Quote, I think that's big. You got to be your biggest critic. First and foremost, that's how I approach it. So, that's what we call self-scouting, right? Every team does it in the league. And obviously, Xavier McKinney taking every practice rep, that much more serious. And you hear people talk about all the time. Like some people will go like, why did they play that player? Why is he still on the roster? There's a reason that teams continue to move forward with specific players because they have every practice is filmed. And all those the front office, if they're a good front office, and Michael Lombardi talks about this all the time, how Bill Belichick did it. You go and you watch that practice tape, man. And you study it like you would game footage. You're going to get just as much information out of there as you will anywhere else, for sure. We got Emilio joining us now. I mean, I know he has some filet mignon out there on the grill. You can't hide credit, can you, Emilio?
Bacon wrapped fillets. I got baked potatoes in the oven, so don't let me forget. I got to get those out in a little bit.
You didn't make any chili? No chili tonight?
I tried this one chili and it set my mouth on fire, and I had to drink a 2-liter of Mountain Dew.
I got it in the show notes here, Emilio, to remind you that the baked potatoes are in the oven.
All right, cool. I appreciate that.
Helmet nose potatoes, right?
Yeah.
And it's good to see you in here, Emilio. I know you had a busy couple of days too. Got Tim back in the house, obviously. I don't know where Jacob's at. He might be down at the what's it called, the Oval Office. That might be where he's at.
I think so. He's been acting.
I'd say he's probably at work would be my guess. But nonetheless, so we heard from X there. Pretty cool that talked about watching the practice tape, all that good stuff. Got a couple other defensive clips we're going to hit here. This was great news. We were all worried that Kingsley Enagbare, I'm pretty sure he goes by JJ full time now, so let's just start calling him JJ Enagbare. We were worried he tore his ACL last year. Check my man out. No sleeve, no nothing. Wes Hockowitz tweeted this out. He's full go, boys. So, we were worried. Every mock draft we did was like, with JJ not being ready because they said he tore it last year. That was the big report, right?
Yeah, we were thinking that it was going to be,
On my knee.
At least until like November, right? But you see him back there, man. To me, he looks like he might have thickened up a little bit. I could be wrong, but he does look a little bulkier there.
Dude,
Thick.
Exactly, Coach.
And after a knee injury like that, man, having torn my ACL meniscus, not having a brace on is big. Like the way it feels being natural again, not having the frame around it is huge. I love that, he's on it. He's not babying it. He's running through. He's stopping on it. And the biggest thing is just not thinking about it, getting to the point where you're back to just playing ball, and not looking down all the time or worrying about your steps.
I remember last year seeing Rashawn with the sleeve on and doing work and feeling good about that. Like, oh, he's got the sleeve and he's mobile. He's hitting the sled. He's doing some agility drills. But like to see this, here's JJ with nothing at all. I mean, this is a good sign, especially this time of year.
Yeah, definitely. Get a little look there at our boy Devontae Wyatt too. I ain't out here to body shame. I'm just trying to get a look. I'm thinking, are they going to play defensive end? They going to play defensive tackle? He's looking pretty lean, isn't he? Look at Devontae Wyatt right there.
Yeah,
I mean, looking pretty lean
a little bit.
Yeah. So we'll see, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. Big Jonathan Ford back here, 99. I think it's Jonathan.
Thick.
That's a thick burger right there.
And was that McDuffie working on his vert there at the beginning of the clip? I like that. So,
I'm telling you, don't sleep on Zay McDuffie, man. I got a feeling about this year. He's gonna contribute in a big way. I'm excited to see what kind of season he's gonna have.
And if I understood correctly, he played for half at Boston College for 1 year, so they do have a history there. So that's
and then you saw Van Ness and Brooks working together too on that a little edge rush drill looked like. So
and then we got a little bit of linebacker tape here, and the one, the only linebacker coach, Anthony Campanile. We got sound for this one. Listen to my man getting them fired up here on the. I guess this is the sled, I believe, the one-man sled, the punching sled.
Torque! You gotta grab it! You gotta grab it! You ain't gonna let him run off! Torque! That's it! Torque! You gotta grab it! You gotta grab it!
But this rep right here, number 56, you know who this is, Edgerrin Cooper. Watch it.
You ain't gonna let him run off! Torque!
Some of you guys are
that intensity, man. You hear that level of intensity right there, hitting the sled in OTAs. I love it. Set the tone early. I love it. Absolutely love it.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see him too. And the fact that he's wearing Lawrence Taylor's number, I mean, that just fired. When I seen him in the 56, I was like, oh, let's go, baby. Let's go.
Dude,
So,
all I thought was in the replacements when they brought in the sumo wrestler and he knocked the coach over. Get this thing off me, sumo boy. Dude, absolutely. Those things are hard to move. I love that. He's got that energy. You need that as a player. Sometimes you need that pick me up, especially on a drill like that. But I love it. I love to see it, man.
We got to start a GoFundMe for Coach Camp's throat lozenges. You got to give him some cough drops. Like, there's no way that guy's got a voice after practice. There's just no way. So let's start a little GoFundMe. Get it going.
I thought you were going to say the bad language jar. You got to put a
yeah, the swear jar.
The swear jar, right?
Yeah, let's do it.
Edgerrin Cooper tweeted this out too. Pretty cool. Nothing but the cheese emoji, right? You can tell he's excited to be a Green Bay Packer, which is absolutely awesome. Only got 16,000 followers. Everyone hearing my voice. Go give Edgerrin Cooper a follow. And please act accordingly on social media, okay? As the rule that I always say, whether the guys will tell you, on the pod or on social media, if you wouldn't say it to a player's face, don't be a chicken crap, right? And say it on social media. Just that's the rule of thumb. If you wouldn't say it to their face, don't say it on social media. Don't be an internet tough guy. But I'm excited about Edgerrin Cooper, man. I'm really, really jacked to see what he can do this year, for sure. Let's see what else we got here. So we got a little bit of bad news. I don't think it's horrible news, but it was interesting to see. You guys know Tucker Kraft. Obviously, this isn't the bad news, by the way. He got married. Bad news, guys. Tucker Kraft tied tonight. What was he thinking? Oh my God. So Tucker Kraft obviously gets married. He shows up today in a sling, right? So he had his arm in a sling. So we were like, oh, no. So this tweet comes out from Wes Hawkins, says, Tucker Kraft and Zach Tom both had pec injuries, per LaFleur. Like Kraft, hope is for Tom to be back for camp. And he quote tweeted an earlier tweet that said, LaFleur said he expects Josh Jacobs, who has a hamstring, to be back soon. Said Tucker Kraft will be out until training camp or shortly thereafter. So something happened with the pec there.
Oh, boy.
Don't know all the details, but of course, everybody's already freaking out over it.
Well, I'm just sitting here thinking, Clayton, I got this 12-ounce can of Coca-Cola here, and I'm just wondering, did he do too many Busch Latte curls with you can kind of tweak your pec, maybe he had the lung dart in one hand and then he had the Busch Latte in the other, and maybe he just tweaked something a little bit. So
I was thinking maybe it happened on his handstand going into the keg. When he put that first one down and he got lifted up, something just didn't feel right.
Yeah, you're right. It's on the approach. Like if the approach isn't right, it's a wrap. Yeah.
But you know that he didn't quit. He kept doing the stand. I mean, he finished holding up on the left hand and had someone just spot him. But
yeah, the thing I was disappointed in when I seen the wedding photo of him and his new bride, he wasn't holding a lung dart. I was like, come on, man, what are we doing here? You got to have a lung dart in your hand in that first wedding photo there. So, but congratulations to Tucker Kraft. Those guys are going to be fine. They'll be ready to go for camp, no doubt. Doug in the chat.
We all have smartphones, and we all know they're pretty amazing, but they also can be amazingly distracting, especially when we're around other people. So US Cellular wants us to reset our relationship with our phones by putting down our phones for $5. That's right, a company that sells phones wants us to put down our phones. And to see what we find, learn more at uscellular.com/built for us.
With threats to our nation waiting around every corner, adaptability is more important than ever. When conditions change without notice, quick strategic thinking is crucial. And with obstacles consistently impending, determination is essential in overcoming them. It's this willingness, decisiveness, and resilience that sets Marines apart. With our fighting spirit, we don't just fight battles, we win them. Marines are the constant our nation counts on to fight the unknown. And through adaptable problem solving, we do just that. Learn more at marines.com.
You're a podcast listener, and this is a podcast ad. Reach great listeners like yourself with podcast advertising from Lips and Ads. Choose from hundreds of top podcasts offering host endorsements, or run a reproduced ad like this one across thousands of shows to reach your target audience with Lips and Ads. Go to lipsandads.com now. That's LIBSYN ads.com. You're a podcast listener, and this is a podcast ad. Reach great listeners like yourself with podcast advertising from Lips and Ads. Choose from hundreds of top podcasts offering host endorsements, or run a reproduced ad like this one across thousands of shows to reach your target audience with Lips and Ads. Go to lipsandads.com now. That's LIBSYN ads.com.
All right, let's do it anyway. Doug says, must have been a heck of a wedding night, arm in a sling and a peck for old Tuck. So, there you go.
Just another afternoon for Tuck Norris, man. No big deal.
He'll be fine. I was waiting for all the Chuck Norris jokes to come in, too. Like, you should have seen the other guy if you think he was bad with the arm in the sling, right? So, just something to kind of monitor as we go into the next phase, which will be, just pull the schedule up real quick. Obviously, they're going to be May 20th, 21st, and 23rd, and then they'll pick back up on the 28th, 29th, and 31st. So we'll just kind of monitor it. Again, they're not expecting them back until training camp. I'm assuming it's the same thing with Zach Tom, which if there's anybody on this roster that I'm not concerned with missing out on practice reps, it's Zach Tom at right tackle personally. And, that gives someone else an opportunity to try to step into that right tackle role. With every adversity lies a seed of equal or greater benefit. Right? What's the positive in this? Someone else is going to get a ton of reps and OTAs at right tackle. We know what Zach Tom is. What if somebody just emerges out of this situation and ends up, saying, hey, I can play right tackle, and then you could potentially move Tom around. That would be kind of cool too. So just always try to find the positive in everything for sure. So I don't know. Let's go around the horn with that. You guys concerned about those injuries? You think we'll be all right there?
I think we're probably going to be okay. Kind of like you said, it's still early enough. They seem to be ahead of it. The hamstring issue with Mr. Jacobs is a little bit of a, makes you raise your eyebrow a little bit. We don't like to hear, hamstring is a trigger word for Packer fans.
It really
the last couple of years. So you don't want to hear that, but it doesn't appear like any of these are super, super serious. Hopefully it's just typical bumps and bruises on your way grinding into a season. So, I think it's a good thing, though, as far as like the fact that Goody nailed this draft and, with Zach Tom, maybe not being there to get a lot of those snaps. We have a lot of young talent on that O-line now that's going to get moved around, and we're going to get a chance to get some meaningful reps for these guys as we get ready for the season. So that's one positive, silver lining in a bad situation. So hopefully, Zach Tom's all right long term.
Exactly where I was going with it, Tim. We got Dillard that can get some more reps. We got Glover that we picked up. Obviously Morgan, the first round pick. All those guys get those extra reps. Tucker Kraft, Musgrave was out for a while and Tucker stepped up. Musgrave needs to step up coming into it, but I'm not really worried at all about those. I mean, they came into it, right? It didn't happen in practice, or they came to OTAs with these injuries, right?
Yeah, well, I know with Tucker, I'm assuming that's what happened with Tucker Kraft.
Okay.
I don't know about Tom, though. I don't, it'd be straight speculation for me.
Right, because I was going to say, if not, I mean, that a little bit of, silver lining is I'm excited that the health or, the training staff is, they got their stretching going. We're not seeing, that sort of those things tick up really fast early, and haven't really heard any complaining about it, and don't mind the extra stretch for them.
Yeah, Debfish may be onto something here too. He says Kraft better learn to leave the toilet seat down. Maybe he got put in an arm bar by the bride there. You better keep that toilet seat down. But we're in day one of this process here. We're in training camp here too, Hoss. Straighten it out here. So never know, man. Never know. I've been put in an arm bar or 12 by Mandy. I promise you that, man.
I don't doubt that at all.
You met her.
She was probably reminding you to
wash your hands, wash your butt, man. That's it. That's all.
Emilio's seen firsthand who runs the ship around here. It's Mandy. That's plain simple.
That's the truth.
I have no shame in admitting that either. People always they show up to the crib. They're like, "Man, I love you. You got a nice house." I'm like, "This is Mandy's house. She just lets me sleep here." That's the way that works.
It's like, as long as I can get my coffee, as long as I got my coffee machine over here, and I can get up to the game, studio up there. So
that's it, man. This is where I live up here. You've seen it, Emilio. But so speaking of hamstrings, we were talking about hamstrings just a second ago. Christian Watson was on the field today. My man looks pretty good, boys. Looking ready to roll. That dude is just he to me, he looks a little bulkier. Am I wrong there, guys? Does he not look a little bit thicker?
I think so, and maybe that was part of it too. Let's give just a little bit more muscle mass on you. If it slows you down a half a second, it's worth it. If he feels more comfortable, more explosive with it, and again with an Enigbari, same idea here with Christian, full speed, not worried about braking, planting, all that stuff. You can't be scared to make your cuts, make your moves.
Yeah. If anything, too, the fact that he went to UW-Madison and got that looked at, right, and seen a hamstring specialist, if for any reason at all, maybe just the mental part of it, like, hey, look, all right, we've done everything. We know what we're doing, right? We know how we're prepping. Obviously, they changed the strength and conditioning side of things going into each practice. They're doing a lot more stretching. If it is a little bit mental when it comes to Christian Watson's hamstring, I would imagine, Tim, that him going down there and seeing a specialist is going to give him a little bit of peace of mind there too.
Yeah, absolutely. And to your point, maybe this is part of the plan is, hey, put on a little bit of muscle mass, maybe resist some of these injuries before they happen. I mean, I see it here too, Clayton. He looks chest, shoulders, arms, and then the quads, lower body looks a little bulkier. So good for Scoop, man, because I don't think he's going to lose a step. So if he's still got that breakaway speed with that bigger frame, and the hands have improved every year that he's been here, so he's going to be a threat in the pass game. It's going to be great.
Yeah. And looking at the receiver on the far side of the picture, it's wild. Christian was already into his break before he even gets to the top of his route.
Yep, absolutely, man.
That's that speed.
Yeah. Yep. And speaking of other receivers on the team, little Jaden Reed action for you too, right? You see there's that. Yeah, little cross corner route, I believe is what that was. But he looks fluid, man. He looks smooth. All these guys look like they showed up in shape, man. And people go, of course they did. That's their professional. You'd be surprised, man. If you listen to national podcasts around the NFL, there's plenty of stories that so-and-so showed up. He looks a little heavy. So-and-so showed up. He looked a little out of shape. It just doesn't seem to happen in Green Bay, man. They seem to run a pretty tight ship. I'm excited about year 2 for Jaden Reed. Obviously, he led the team in receiving yards last year. Always a threat on the jet sweeps. He's one of those guys that Jordan, he proved that Jordan could depend on, I think it's going to be another similar situation this year when it comes to Jaden Reed. He's kind of proven to be that go-to guy right off the bat. Romeo Doubs in the background, you see him there. Romeo's going to do Romeo things. That guy is one of the best, one of the best on this team and one of the best in the league, in my opinion, as far as strong hands and making those contested catches. There's no doubt about that. So excited about Jaden Reed. Hey, this is kind of off the cuff here. Just a quick question. Who do you guys think will be the leading receiver for the Packers? And again, I don't want y'all to put a whole lot of thought into it. Just what's the first thing that comes to mind? Obviously, Jaden Reed led the team last year. Christian Watson stays healthy. He's going to be on the fold. You can't write Romeo Doubs off, right? And then, of course, you got Dontavian Wicks. It's just look like he's going to be an absolute monster with enough time. But, Tim, what do you think, man? Who would be your early guess to have the most receiving yards for the Packers this year?
Christian Watson. I'm telling you, we've been waiting. It's his time. If there was time for a guy to break out, he's primed for it right here. Going into this season, basically at 100%. We just talked about it. Looks like he added a little bit of bulk, little muscle mass. Clearly still agile, still has the good hands, has the speed. And now, year 3 in this scheme with Matt LaFleur, he's not a rookie anymore. He's coming into his own as a player. I'd like to see a good, 15 to 16, 17, 18 game season out of Christian Watson for the first time since he's been a pro and have an all-pro year. So I think that would be my early pick, that Scoop comes out ahead of the pack and leads the team in receiving yards this year.
Definitely. Everybody in the chat, let me know your answer there. What do you think, Emilio? Who do you got, bro?
Yeah, first thought, I was actually thinking Romeo, just hoping that we can get a little breakout from him and he can solidify his spot on the team. I think at some point, those, like you said, Christian, him and Romeo, they're going to be the first ones up contract-wise. They're going to have to show up at some point, numbers, producing for the team. So that's I think that's a way they might go. And honestly, I'm hoping the chemistry really shows out now that Jordan's not worried about all the little things of, just getting up there, getting the playoff and all that. Now that he can get past some of that and kind of think a little bit further into the play, he might be able to use some of that. And just having that little knack, like, looking at the dude and knowing what he's thinking, where he's going to go, not even needing to throw the head fake is huge.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see what the chat said here real quick as we get into that question we just asked. We asked, who do we think will be the leading receiver for the Packers this year? Right. Chris N says Reed. All right. So he's going Jaden Reed. Let's see. Randy Cleaver says Reed. Reed is smooth. Greg Rice says Christian Watson. John Leslie, I guess is how you say it. I apologize. Says Jaden Reed. Coach Lynn says Dontavian Wicks. That might be my pick, man. It's just crazy. We'll get to it. It's just wild. Eric Sutherland says Dontavian Wicks. Greg Rice says, but I can't wait to see Wicks and Reed. So it's a tough question. Prince says Christian Watson. Ron Sample says they sure scheme Dobbs open also. They really do, man.
I feel like Rome is the red zone guy. I feel like that's going to be the big target for Jordan.
Most touchdowns, maybe?
Yeah, those tutters, like throw that ball up in an area and just trust Rome's going to come down with it. That's where his strong suit is. And then it's like you look at Watson. Watson's your field stretcher, right? So probably a lot of yak yards, bombs, long passes, those kind of things. And then, Reed and Wicks, man, those guys are lethal anywhere you put them. So, I mean, it's tough to really pinpoint who's going to, quote unquote, lead the team. But I see each guy kind of having their own little, nuanced role in this offense. So it would be fun.
When I was watching the tape during the first half of the season last year, too, I really keyed in on Romeo Doubs. I'm like, where are they putting him at? Most of the time, he was the boundary X, and he was just going deep. And it sounds silly, and I know people are going to Clayton, you give these guys too much credit, but to ask a receiver to run a 9 route, to run a go, a fly, every single passing play, and they do it, and they don't complain, they don't say a thing. It's just constantly – and he wasn't getting the ball. It was just run 35, 40 yards as fast as you can down the field, come back, do it again. Like, it just shows you what kind of teammate he is, what kind of person he is, because, that there's a reason they're doing that. They're putting it on tape. And you start to put that on tape, and people, okay, well, when they come out in this Trey gun set and 87 is the boundary X, he's going to run a fly most of the time. You show a fly and turn that into a post, you can really set things up nice. Again, I just think he's just a selfless player for sure. But Randy Cleaver says Christian Watson, he's going deep a lot. Ron Sanville says Jaden Reed, leading receiver. Adam Block says Jaden Reed. Seems like Jaden Reed's in the lead right now. Let's see. Broad Love says Dontavian Wicks. Ron Sanville says, who cares? 2 1,000-yard receivers. Let's go.
Yes, I love it.
Yeah.
How about 3 or 4 of them? Let's go.
Greg Ross makes a good point, too. He says, Christian Watson, many people don't talk about this, but he can block, too. So we got that, too, here. Let's see here. Where's that at?
He can block.
Yes, he can.
Sure.
We've come a long way since that post-game show, boys. I'm just telling you right now.
Yeah.
That was a rough one. Deadfish says Dontavian Wicks. John says Dontavian Wicks. Vahan says love Wicks, but think it's going to be Christian Watson. I like that answer. There you go. Mm-hmm. Savage Inc. says it's got to be the Wicked One. I like that. Oh, my God. What a nickname. The Wicked One. Let's go.
Love it.
And we're not talking about Aaron Rodgers' witch girlfriend either, right? We're talking about Eric Sutherland says Watson gets 200 yards in his 6 games played this season. Maybe he will have the most yards. LOL. Just kidding. Right,
I love it.
All right,
John, always keeping it interesting.
John said, surprise, surprise, the redneck screwed up my name. So is it Lizel? Okay, Lizel. It's a cool name, man. Yeah, that makes sense, Lizel, now that I read it again. Yeah. I'm in the red, white, and berry. I ain't going to lie. Still battling with the flu, so it is what it is. Some of you guys are like, no, Clay, we watch the show all the time. When you're sober, you can't speak, bro. But, yeah, it's cool that you got that many different answers, right? Really, really cool.
That's exactly what Coach was saying. It's a great question because of all the different options we have. Somebody could have said Musgrave. You know what I'm saying? Like,
we haven't even hit the bottom of the barrel yet with our talent too. Like, you know, I mean, we got guys like Grant DeBose we haven't even really seen. We've got Bo Melton. You know, we've got my boy Malik.
Oh, Melton, the highest PFF grade of all the receivers last year, bro.
And I'm telling you, Malik Heath is a dog. I mean, that guy is a possession receiver for sure. Like,
I hope when we go back,
throw it to him, man. Let's go.
I'm pretty sure it was in a game, right? I hope when we go back through, we see that clip of him sending that dude to the water cooler.
It was, yeah. I think it was preseason, though. That makes it so much better, though.
Yeah.
In preseason, he was.
Dude, how bad do you want it? How bad do you want to make this team?
Yeah, I'll show you how bad. I'm gonna put this guy in the parking lot. Watch this.
I would have loved to know what the reaction was when he got back on the sideline. You know, just how hyped up they were.
And Coach Lynn can attest to this. I would love to see the reaction in the tape when you're watching the tape in the film room. Yeah. You know, those guys went absolutely nuts. I bet Jason Vrabel was standing on a table with his shirt off.
Yeah, our guys better wake up with their piss hot, like I said before.
So obviously we could talk about receivers till the cows come home. I think we got a pretty stacked group. Very, very cheap. The cheapest wide receiver room in the entire NFL. But it all begins and ends with Jordan Love. Pretty cool. Very few people were like, is he going to show up to offseason until he gets the contract? Is he going to show up to train? You know, what's going to happen there? Jordan Love was asked that question today about him being at OTAs. Let's see what QB1 had to say here. And then we got a quote from Matt LaFleur, him talking about Jordan Love as well. But here is QB1 Jordan Love at his locker today after this second phase of OTAs underway here.
It's something that I've always done, trying to be here, get the reps in, get to working with the guys, and just start building that chemistry and getting ready for the season.
Do you have an idea of like when you would like that done? Has your agent said you're not stepping on the field for a preseason game until you have a deal done or something like that?
No, so I don't really know what's going on, but we'll see. But yeah, I'm not going to get into too much contract stuff.
Would you be comfortable playing under the current deal, or is that something that you don't want to do at this point?
We'll see. I don't know yet. We'll see.
How much, looks like y'all had just about 100% attendance. How much your decision to come out here was to kind of show that leadership, to kind of convince the other guys to join you and be here for their voluntary workouts as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's always a part of it, just showing up, and the other guys will follow too. But I mean, it's a testament to everybody wanting to be here, wanting to get that work in. Obviously, new defense going in, so those guys are eager to get out here, get those reps in, and learn what they're doing. But yeah, I mean, it's just a testament to everybody being able to show up here.
How different do you feel this year now as a 1 year fully entrenched starter, having that experience under your belt coming into this season?
Yeah, I feel a little bit more comfortable. Obviously had a full season to get a lot of reps and learn and grow. So definitely feel a lot more comfortable each year I've been here, and this year even more so.
From a body standpoint, I mean, this is the first time in several years that you've had a full season than going into the off season. Have you had to do anything different with your body to try to just get yourself back to where you want to be?
No, I was pretty healthy leaving the season. Just little bumps and bruises, things like that. So I took some time off, but my off-season schedule stayed the same as it's usually been. Take a little bit of time off and then get back to it. But I mean, it helps when you don't have to rehab and deal with any injuries, things like that.
Was there a turning point for you last year? I mean, for us on the outside looking in, we can say, okay, this game, that game, whatever. But did the light go on? Did something click at a certain point?
No, I don't think there was any one game in particular. I think throughout the season, every game, I learned so many, valuable lessons in every rep I took. So I feel like about halfway through is when I just started getting really comfortable, understanding more where I need to go with the ball, what I need to do out there to put our team in the best position, and just limit the mistakes, things like that. But I feel like every game I played, I learned a little bit and got a little bit more comfortable.
Matt said,
I don't listen too much Taylor Swift.
That's the most important part right there that they left out. You don't listen to much Taylor Swift.
Hey, I love how he said, I don't want to get too much into the contract stuff. And then the next question is immediately a contract question.
Right. And it's frustrating, man. I know. And I try not to bash the media because they're doing their job and they got to try to prod and pick and this and that. But he handled it the right way. That's how you do it. Let the agent handle it. Mm-hmm. Let Mugatu handle it, right? It's my quarterback. You let them handle it. That way there's no hard feelings either way. And my big thing is it is kind of a tough contract to get done. We talked about the comps, right? But the fact that he's there, I guarantee you, Goody, with him being there and him approaching it the way he's approaching it, I can see Goody approaching Russ Ball and going, all right, let's amp this up a little bit. Not that it's going to get done tomorrow, but just like this guy's done everything right. He really has. Now, again, the numbers got to be right, and we know it's kind of a difficult contract to get done, but this is pretty cool here. I love that picture, too, by the way. Jair is just hilarious, man. But Matt Schneiden tweeted out, Matt LaFleur said this offseason's attendance has been better than any of his prior 5 years here. Setting that tone starts with Jordan Love, who's showing up even without a new deal. Quote, to have him here, you can't put a value on that. And obviously he's got a story there at, let me drop that comment down real quick, over at the New York Times. So Matt Schneiden, I think, does a great job covering the team. He's one asking a bunch of those questions about the contract, too. He wasted no time. He's trying to get answers. But, yeah, I think it's
Have you ever experienced turbulence on a flight and wondered why?
And you can see all the terrain around you. You've got no issue with visibility or anything?
No, everything's PG.
Maybe you've sat on the tarmac for hours wondering why your plane isn't moving.
Well, we're outside here. They're saying the ramp is closed. They won't let us park because of Air Force One.
Listen in on the conversations between pilots and air traffic controllers on the Air Traffic Out of Control podcast.
510 Whiskey declaring an emergency. There's smoke in the cabin. I need to make a landing right now on 31 left.
We have the most interesting, wild, and funny ATC recordings you will ever hear. Check out Air Traffic Out of Control wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.
It really says a lot, man, that Jordan is there. So
that is so unbelievably big, right? That he showed up in optional teams with not being paid and just wants to work, wants to play. That's exactly why, we picked him. I'm sure Goody passed him in the hall and, maybe he said, I appreciate you being here. That's big for this team. It's big for the organization, and Matt's got to be happy. Right. So, it, like you said, it all starts up there with Jordan, and that is so huge that he showed up like that.
Hey, look at Jair in that picture. He's like, man, AJ Money, how much you trying to get paid?
Right.
Jordan's like, this much. Look at his arm. Not this much.
Let 23 hold a Benny here, bro. My contract a couple years outdated now.
Jordan's looking at him like, hey, you got that max deal. Wait a minute. Hold on. You're the highest paid corner in football.
I can't get over McKinney too, man. Even that video we showed of him just running that simple drill, that boy is cut. I mean, you can tell he is in peak shape. Just a great attitude. I think he's going to make all the difference in the world, man.
Thick.
He is thick, Coach Hatt.
And not wasting time by coming here out of shape.
Right.
We're rolling in here ready to go. Like first day is like we're already a weekend. I love that.
Yeah, definitely. So when we talk about the Jordan Love contract, these are the two, in my opinion, the two best comps. You get the most recent contract, which was Jared Goff, right, who signed the 4-year, $212 million contract, okay, including $73 million signing bonus, 170.6 guaranteed, right? His average annual salary at $53 million. But what I want you guys to key in on, and the reason I wanted to look at this a little closer, is the cap hit in 2025. So if Jordan gets his deal done this year, I'm trying to find comps to go, okay, what will his cap hit realistically be? I think he'll get a bigger contract than Jared Goff. Now, some people would say he deserves more than it. Others would say he doesn't deserve more than it. He hasn't made it to a Super Bowl. Jared Goff did, right? And that's real. That's a real thing. He's made it, further in the playoffs, obviously, with the Rams. He's done a lot of good things in Detroit. But his cap hit for this year is 27.2. Next year, it jumps to 32.6. Then it jumps to 69.6. Then back down to 54.6. But you notice the dead cap drops off significantly in 2027. So essentially what you've got there is, yes, it's a 4-year deal, but it's really a 3-year deal, right? And we kind of talked about that. You could get out of it in 2 years if you wanted to. Not that we would want to get out of Jordan Love's future contract when he does sign it, but just trying to get an idea on the cap hit there. So his being Jared Goff, 32.6 next year. The Joe Burrow contract, when we look at how his kind of jumps, his goes from this year being $29.7 million to 46.2 next year, then 48.2 the year after that. Now, keep in mind, they did put on 3 voidable years in 2030, 31, and 32. So that allowed them to push some of that out, or else it would be right there on par with Goff. So if we took his cap hit of 46.2 being Burrow's, and then the 32.6 for Jared Goff, and let's say you just went right in the middle, right, from 32 to 46, I feel comfortable saying, let's say $40 million cap hit for Jordan Love next year. If they, depending on how they structure the deal, obviously is going to play a big role in what the cap hit actually is. But I wanted to mention that because as we look at the free agents next year, well, first of all, the market on Jordan Love, look at his average annual at the bottom. This is according to Spot Track, $47.8 million. So I think somewhere between 40 and 45 million would probably be a pretty good guesstimate as to what his cap hit will be in 2025 with the new deal. And when you look at the free agency situation for next year, these are the free agents that are set to hit the market. Now, we pointed out before, I think we're showing in 2025 as it sits right now, 60, I think it's 66. It's either 62 or 66 million, depending on whether you go with Spot Track or over the cap. Let's call it 62 million in cap space next year. Again, the salary cap may raise even more than that next year. But let's just put it at 62 million. If Jordan Love is getting paid, let's say 40 million against the cap, as far as the cap hit in 2025, then that still leaves you with roughly 22 million in cap space before doing any kind of gymnastics. Some people think, oh my God, this is going to hinder the Packers so bad. I just don't see it that way. If Jordan Love is the guy, and Goody truly thinks he is the guy, then it's worth every penny. Get it done now, because in 2 years, that's going to look like a hell of a discount, boys. It really is, because it's only going to go up from here for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So
I feel like the front office is like trying to do this right. So there's not a lot of, I'm sure there's back and forth like negotiations or whatever behind closed doors. But as far as like presenting him with an official deal and an offer, they want to just get it right the first time with him and just have him sign and let's go. I don't think they want to, drag this out with a lot of back and forth. And honestly, Jordan doesn't seem like all about the money type of guy. I think, his agent's got a job to do the agent's job is to get as much money for his client as he can so that he can get a nice fat commission check for himself. So we understand how that goes. But I think at the end of the day, Jordan just wants a deal that, reflects what he's bringing to the table and, long-term gives him some stability. So I don't think it should take too much to get this right.
Yeah. Greg Rice says, I hope he takes a lesson from Brady and leaves some money on the table for the rest of the team so he can get more Lombardis. I never want to spend anyone else's money, and I know you don't either, Greg. I hope that's the case too as a Packer fan. I hope he takes the Brady approach as well. But at the same time, got to get what you can while you can, right? Because you guys know it can be over as quick as it started for sure.
But, if Goody didn't believe in him, he wouldn't have picked him. He wouldn't have moved up to pick him in the draft, right? So at this point, I think Goody really is behind him, like you said. But maybe Jordan takes, like you were saying, 42. I'd be happy if he took a little more this year, if we front loaded it just a smidge, because the wide receiver room's so cheap, because we have those kind of wiggle rooms like that. If we can, get a chunk of it knocked out early, I would absolutely love that, because then it gives us so much more room if we are going, if the window is open, whatever. You got a lot more wiggle room moving forward when that wide receiver room's going to have to get paid at some point.
Yeah, for sure. Randy Cleaver says, I think that's exactly what Jordan is thinking, Super Bowls. I sure hope so, man. So when we look at this free agent list, we got about 12 minutes left here. I want to wrap up asking you guys this question. I wanted to ask you this yesterday. Obviously, everybody was covered up. So when you look at this free agent list, right at the top, Kenny Clark, right? You got Jordan Love, Eric Stokes, A.J. Dillon, Corey Ballantyne, Josh Myers, Eric Wilson, Greg Joseph, Christian Welch, Andre Dillard. I'm going to go down the line here, and I want to know, give me a number that you think, okay, keep in mind too, if Jordan lands in that 40 million mark and we got 22 million in cap space next year, right? If it's an average annual per, whatever number you put on average annual per for these players, it's coming off of that 22 million next year. That's why when I look at this, I'm a little bit like, what's the number? What number would you put on Kenny Clark? Putting y'all on the spot, but what's the first number that comes to mind per year? Either one that wants to go first. I don't want to put anybody specific on the spot. What would that number be? Because I look at that and I go, Kenny's been good. Don't get me wrong. He's going to be 30 years old, right? And you've drafted Devontae White. You got Carl Brooks, who's emerging. This is the tough side of the business of the NFL. Because the number I keep coming up with is like, if Kenny ain't willing to take less than, keep it right around 10 million, probably got to let him test free agency, man. What do you guys think?
Before you said that, I was thinking 11, 12 would have probably been my max, just because, if the dude balls out and we have that 3-tech, I know we have more guys coming in the wake, obviously, but the dude was still so young with so much experience. It's kind of what gets me, right? He's been in the league for so long now, and he's still only 29, coming on 30. I wouldn't be opposed to 11 or 12.
Yeah, Chris in the chat says 16 for Kenny, so he's a little bit higher on him than obviously I am. And you see the previous average annual per is 17.5 for Kenny, but you guys know this year's cap hits like 25 million or whatever it is. But what's the number for you, Tim? Anything come to mind, man?
As of right now, I'm kind of where you are. I'm between that 10 and 12 million range as it stands right now. But, talk to me week 8, 9, or, 10 going into the bye week of the season. We'll see what that looks like. And I feel Chris's sentiment too, I think he said 16, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, we brought Kenny into this league, right? Kenny is got as good a chance as anyone in recent memory to play his entire career in Green Bay, if all, everything pans out right. So, and I don't see Kenny Kenny's going to need his money too, but I don't see him being, unwilling to, compromise when it comes to overall cap room and, taking a quote unquote team friendly deal or whatever we have to do to make this work. But, looking at the last couple of seasons and then going into this year, like you always say, Clayton, like Kenny Clark, the teammate, the man, the leader, the attitude, the work ethic, the grind, that's priceless. As far as executing on the field as a player, it's been a little up and down. I don't think we've had, booty cheek seasons from Kenny Clark, but maybe some more underwhelming than expected. But I certainly think that he's worth somewhere in that 10 to 12 million range as it stands now. But like Emilio said, if this dude comes out crushing it, and is balling out at 29 years old, you know, he could get a little money here, you know, long term.
Dave's in the chat says depends on what they look like week 8. Exactly what you said, Tim. Like,
there you go.
If they're balling out and Kenny is, you know, just a pressure machine and he's stuffing the run, throw him the bag, maybe give him that 16, 17 million per and kind of set it up. You know, he's got some voidable years on the backside already, so you can structure it in a way where you can kind of kick it down the road a touch. And then if that salary cap catches back up with you, then you can kind of balance it out that way.
Give him a chunk in signing bonus or, you know, whatever they got to do.
Right.
Yeah, Ron Sanville says Clark will get more somewhere else. I 100% agree with that, Ron. That's where it's going to come down to. It's important if he flashes in this defense, offer him a contract, try to get it that hometown discount, if you will, because you're coming to him early. And it, you know, what you do there is you hang some guaranteed money out there as dangling a carrot. And now he and his agent have to make a decision of, okay, do we risk playing the rest of the year out and tearing an ACL? And now you've got to sit for another full year before you're healthy. Think of the millions of dollars you're passing up on if the guarantee is good enough there in Green Bay. I know that sounds very, very dark and kind of negative thinking, but that's the reality of the NFL, and that's why these guys try to get that guaranteed money as quick as possible, because that could happen in practice. I mean, you've seen Greenlaw. You've seen Greenlaw in the freaking Super Bowl, jogging on the field, tears the Achilles, right?
That'll probably be the key to that deal, right, is the guaranteed aspect. I mean, he could have a lower overall contract. If there's more guaranteed money, he may be more willing to sign with that team. And I also think Kenny's probably the type of guy that, you know, let's say he wants somewhere 16 to 18 million, something like that. If he's got an offer from, you know, whatever, the Rams are going to offer him 17 million and the Packers come in at 14.5 with more guaranteed money, I think Kenny stays here. You know, I don't think a little bit of money either way is going to really affect his, you know, decision in the long run, but guaranteed money walks the walk in the NFL. We all know that. So,
yeah, for sure. Dave says 15.5 incentives on a new defense. If not, it's a third or a fourth comp. So, yeah, that's the other thing, too. There'll be a comp pick involved if someone does, you know, obviously break the bank to go out and get him in free agency. And I think Kenny wants to be here. I really do. So,
especially if he sees what's rolling. And I think he does. So, I don't know, man.
He's seen a lot of additions to this defense over his tenure here in Green Bay as well. You know, like this team does not look at all like it did when he was drafted. And he's kind of been one of those constants in that defensive room. So, you know, I agree, man. I think he wants to be a Packer. I really do. I mean, unless we really lowball him, you know, if we pull a Devontae Adams on him,
look at him there.
Walk. Yeah.
2016, we brought him in here. If that dude is, you know, the foundation of this team, we got to keep him around. If he's not the foundation, we have to move on. That's the business. But Clayton, weren't you saying it before? When he was at his best, it was with Mike Daniels, you know, right next to him.
Right. Yep, it was. That's when you had that great year, and it was in the Pettin defense too. It was a little bit different than Barry on the backside with the Fangio quarters coverage. Which you guys seen last year. We didn't actually play quarters, which is still this big, you know, whoa. But yeah, when he had Daniels next to him, drawing attention away, that's when he really flashed. If Devontae, and here's the reality is we pulled it up the other day, you know, Kenny Clark was like 89th in the league at the defensive tackle position in pressure percentage and pressure rate. And Devontae Wyatt was like 22nd. So he's getting pressure on the quarter. I'll get my man over at the disc. He's getting pressure on the quarterback. Devontae Wyatt is. It's just the running game, you know, last year was kind of brutal with the run defense. Well, now they're going to be way more aggressive in this one gap scheme. So it's just going to be kind of like hey, you just split that gap. You beat Devontae Wyatt. The more I think about it, the more I look at it, he is built for this type of one gap approach. Yep. You just attack, you annihilate that one gap. And just kill anything that gets in your way on your way to the quarterback, right? You play the run to the quarterback, essentially. It's going to be exciting to see how that plays out. Eric Sutherland had a banger earlier. He said Tyler Davis, 1,400 yards receiving and 12 tutters. So
you're an amazing person. You know that, don't you?
I wouldn't hold her breath on that, Eric. Although Tyler Davis looked good today. He was out there, man. ACL seems healthy. So
Tyler Davis was like,
how about these hands?
Thing dangling like a beanie weenie over there. But, yeah, did you see that, man?
Oh, I don't know, man. He didn't talk about the SIFs though.
he did.
Block.
Yeah.
Greg Rice wraps it up here. We'll get out of here, gang. He says, who here has bought their Tennessee tickets to roll with the posse tailgating and post game? And that's the big question. So obviously we're going to meet up in Nashville this year for the Titans-Packers game. I've got somebody working on some tickets right now for our group because I think as a family we're going to go down too. So I'll try to break away from those folks and meet up with the crew, whoever does want to meet up. And like I said, even if it's just tailgating for 30 minutes before the game, just to get together, grab a picture, have a brat, whatever. But I think the last time I heard my brother-in-law, so it's Mandy's sister's husband has got some really good business ties in the city of Nashville. So he's trying to land 12 tickets is what we're going for. So, but we're taking a herd of people down too. So it should be a lot of fun, but yeah, we're definitely be there. Mandy's sold on it. She's already, we got a wedding planning business, right? She's a wedding coordinator. Mandy's literally threatening to cancel a wedding. Some people, are you allowed to do that? When you're a business owner, yes, you're allowed to do that. You are. When you don't have a boss to answer to. So, tell you, man, that's the advice I got to everyone. If there's anyone hearing my voice that thinks, man, I could never own a business, BS. Find something you're passionate about. Start small. Build off of it. You don't have to have another human being, handing you a check every Friday. It doesn't have to happen that way. Emilio knows what I'm talking about too. So, Tim too, you've been down that road yourself, man. You know what I'm talking about. So,
absolutely.
Yeah. I like this. Ron Sample says Clayton don't want his family to see his friends. Actually, Clayton don't want his friends to see his family. Mandy's mad.
Never bring peanut butter to a jelly fight.
I love it. Oh man, you guys got anything else before we get out of here? This show sucks so bad.
Oh, it's brutal. No, but happy that everyone showed up, man. The attendance is huge. It's like starting 2-a-days. Like we said, at 100%, ready to roll. Everybody's got to be excited about it, and that's like what Tim was saying earlier, but Preston was saying, championship off season rolls in right before then and right now. So I'm loving it, man. I'm really, really excited.
You stay ready, you don't have to get ready, and that's the motto. And everyone's got their issues, right? Everyone wants more money, everyone wants more recognition, everyone wants more reps. Third string guys want to be on the second string and the first string, and everyone's got their own issues, but it seems like this whole group of guys that we've got here is focused on one thing, and that's winning a championship. And that means putting yourself second, putting the team first, and the leadership we do have in this locker room is by example. The Jordan Loves and the Rashawn Garys and the Xavier McKinneys, the Jair Alexanders. It's a lot. Kenny Clark, we just talked about. It's a lot of walking the walk, not just talking the talk. And that's true leadership. So I think we got a group of guys that are just focused, whether it's an optional workout or not. I mean, we had the story the other day of Jordan Love, missed an optional workout to go support his girlfriend at her volleyball game. And it's like, here's a guy, doesn't have a new deal, and he's still asking for the green light. Like, hey, do you mind if I miss this optional workout? And it's like, it just shows you the type of mindset that we have in this locker room. I don't think there's any I, me guys in this locker room. I think it's we, team, go Pack, go, bring Lombardi home. That's the mindset. So lot to be excited about as a fan going into the 2024 season for sure.
Right. Yeah. And those friendships and new, those new meetings between the players, all that's going to build over the summer as well when they're not in OTAs, when they're still, texting, talking off the field, meeting up, all of that. Dude, it's Tim, you said it best, man. I just can't wait. Great time to be a Packers fan.
Hey, fan says, Tim steady with the inspirational quotes. See? Paul Robertson said, Tim got some pastor in him. Praise God. When he said, I love it.
You're an amazing person. You know that, don't you?
All right, so here's the plan moving forward, guys. We got through all the chalk talks. Surprise, surprise. In the middle of a show yesterday, I realized nobody's going to be on the show with me. I'm like, all right, let me just throw this Kalen King chalk talk together real quick.
That was fire. That was fire.
Very impressive.
Sometimes the best things that happen aren't planned. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just Eric Sutherland. Like that's how I met my wife. Actually, that's yeah. So, but yeah, we what we'll do next. Again, we're in OTAs. So while this is going on, there's going to be pressers. There's going to be practice coverage. We'll get little insights from the reporting and all that. We'll keep you up to date on that. As soon as we hit a little dead spot, we're going to go back to week 1, 2023, and we're going to relive week 1, what happened in that game against the Bears. Then on to week 2, week 3, week 4, that type of thing. And then when the OTAs crank up, we'll hit pause, cover the OTAs, and then pick right back up. Okay, that's our next wave of content that we're going to be creating. So we're going to be reliving last year's season. So it should be a lot of fun. Just this
spoiler alert for that week 1 matchup.
The Bears still suck.
It's true, man. It's true. Coach Lynn right here speaking truth right here. He says money touches money. If they take care of business, everyone will get paid. Amen, buddy. Amen. So,
yeah, I was thinking about that when it comes to these contracts. Nobody in the NFL is worried about how they're going to keep their lights on and how they're going to feed themselves. You're not worrying about the day-to-day type stuff. You're a professional athlete. So when you get into the tens of millions of dollars conversation, $1 million here, $1 million there differential, I don't think it's necessarily about the dollars and cents always. It's about guys want to be paid to reflect what they're bringing to the table. They want to be respected with that checkbook. I think we get, tied up into the dollars and cents of it all. And, the executives always find a way to make things work somehow. So I think that's important to remember. It's not always just the paper, but like Coach Len said, that's so true. If one guy's successful and everyone takes care of business like that, everyone's getting paid, man.
Definitely. If y'all would hit that like button for us so other Packer fans can find this channel, find this content. Feel free to subscribe as well, share it, all that good stuff. If you're listening on the pod, feel free to give a review too, a rating. If you like it, leave a 5-star review. If you don't like it, just pretend like you didn't hear us. That'd be cool too. But AFAM in the chat says Paul's requesting a Luke Tenuta chalk talk study.
Sure about
so
that?
it's gonna be hard to find footage on that one, Hoss. So
oof.
All right, we're out of here, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Not Ron Sample said breaking news. Well, Antonio Brown filed bankruptcy, so yeah, money didn't touch money there. You know what I mean? So, we'll be back tomorrow night, though. Tim, if you would help me out here on the outro.
For those of you listening on the pod,
thank you for making us a part of your day. As always, let's go out and be the change we want to see in the world and go Pack Go.
The power sweep actually is the lead play in our offense. We ask our YN or a tight end to open up somewhere between 6 feet and 9 feet, get an isolation with the linebacker. We tell the tackle to take the defensive end if he's over him. If he's not, to drive down on the first man to his inside. If the YN has the linebacker taken out, he cuts inside. If the YN has the linebacker in, he comes all the way around. If you look at this play, what we're trying to get is a seal here and a seal here. Try to run this play in the alley.